Alright, let's talk about fishing and especially how you can reach the gold per hour numbers listed on the fast farming website. I often see fishing recommended as one of the best solo gold per hour activities, but at the same time I notice a lot of people struggling getting anywhere close to that number. We're going to solve all of this by the end of this video, and I'll throw in some tips and tricks to make moving between fishing holes less tedious, as well as a couple of bonuses near the end. First things first though, if you want to get anywhere near 30 gold per hour, you'll need to learn how to max out your fishing power. The good news is that most of the steps will only take a minute. The only exception would be the fishing masteries. So if you haven't gotten those maxed out yet, that would be the place to start. Each of the 5 masteries will add 20 to your base fishing power, as well as bonuses such as reducing your catching time, another 100 extra fishing power while you're under the effects of nourishment, as well as a few quality of life improvements you'll definitely notice when you're fishing for a long time. The equipment itself is rather easy to obtain. Once you unlock fishing on one of your characters, all of the others will gain their own fishing rod. All that remains is buying the appropriate lure and bait. You'll need the final mastery unlocks to buy the best lure, which is either the Jade or Amber fishing lure. Alternatively, you can buy an infinite fishing lure from the gem store for 800 gems. The infinite lure is not necessary at all, it's simply another convenience item for people who'd rather not buy lures. The annoying thing about the item is that you'll have to move it between characters, much like the infinite gathering tools. 800 gems comes down to a little over 284 gold, which means you'll need to have cast your line at least 118,600 times before the infinite lure starts coming out ahead. If you want one, don't let the numbers deter you though, I'm just throwing it out there. Acquiring bait is simple. You can buy almost all sorts from a fishing supplier for only a few copper. The only exception would be mackerel, which you'll need to catch. You could farm for mackerel by fishing in saltwater bodies of water, or by trading in blue fish fillets at one of the fishmongers. You can check the best bait to use as well as the time to day to fish on the fast farming website. They have the numbers in case you stay in the same map, as well as the numbers for each specific day or night cycle. Whenever you see a farm that requires 925 fishing power, that means you'll need to stock up on mackerel. Luckily, some of the top farms require scorpions, which you can buy at any supplier. Alright, that's masteries, bait, lure and equipment out of the way. And only 2 things remain. The first is food. All of the different pieces of sushi will give you the same amount of fishing power, so you'll want to craft or buy the cheapest one, as the only difference between them is a couple of percentages of magic find. As mentioned before, one of the masteries will grant you 100 extra fishing power for simply having a food buff active. The final thing we need to take care of are the fishing stacks. Each stack will increase your fishing power, so we need to get to 99 as soon as possible. You don't need to first spend a ton of time catching fish though, as there are 2 ways to instantly max out your stacks. If someone is listing a fishing party in the LFG, you can actually share their stacks. Simply join their party, jump on their skiff, and the 99 stacks will transfer over to you. And make sure you pay it forward as well if you see other people trying to fish in the same map as you. When playing at odd times, or in a less populated map, you might not always find someone to share stacks with though. As of the last festival of the 4 Winds, ArenaNet did us a favor by adding Zephyrite fish jerky to the game. This is the biggest quality of life when it comes to fishing. Consuming one of these will instantly grant you 25 fishing stacks, and each subsequent one will grant another 25 all the way up to 99. The bad news is that the recipe can only be acquired whenever the festival is active, so you'll have to wait another 10 months before being able to make your own, if you didn't get it during the last festival that is. The good news is that you can also buy them on the trading post. They'll set you back around 1 gold total if you buy them outright, so it might be worth listing a few buy orders if you know you're going to be fishing a lot in the future. Jerky does not give you a nourishment effect, and therefore it doesn't replace the sushi you should be consuming as well. Also, make sure you only consume them when your skiff is anchored. If you consume them while still navigating your skiff, you will not get any stacks and basically will waste the gold you've spent. You're probably already sick of me mentioning the candy corn gobbler in every other video I make, but once again, you can gain another advantage with the candy corn gobbler whenever you're fishing. The item booster buff that can be acquired either through one of the boosters or from the gobbler will sometimes grant you an extra cast at a fishing hole, so you might be able to catch more than 3 fish at the same hole. If you want to know more about this item, so that you'll never have to spend money on buying boosters, go and check out my video in the pinned comment. The only thing left to do now is go out there and fish. If you have a commander tag, you can actually mark all of the fishing holes with markers, making them much easier to spot on the minimap. Please note that if you're using your tag, you will not be able to see the red exclamation mark above your head, so you'll actively need to watch the water to catch your own fish. When navigating between fishing holes, you have two options. Either stay on your skiff, use a speed boost, and make sure you stop in time at the next hole. If you don't like the way your skiff maneuvers, you could also mount your skimmer. If you do this, you risk losing your 99 fishing stacks though, as they will only persist as long as you're on your skiff, as well as 20 seconds after. You can avoid losing the stacks by either getting back on your skiff in time, or if the distance between two holes is too big, you could place your skiff in the water, hop on it with your skimmer, and the buff timer will reset. That's about everything you will need to know when fishing for gold. But there are two more things I want to share with you. The first is an NPC called Taro Everclaw in Arborstone. Each day, he will ask for a rare fish that you can trade in for a chunk of ambergris. That's about 2 gold for only few minutes of work per day. You can check what fish he requires on the wiki and where to catch one, as well as what time of the day and the bait you want to be using. And the final thing I want to share relates to the fishing achievements. If you don't like fishing in the same map for hours on end, you can actually do the achievements instead. The overall gold per hour won't be the same, but you'll still make a decent chunk of change. And on top of the fish you'll be catching, you can get up to 6 chunks of ambergris for crossing off all the fish in a region. This will also unlock the Avid achievement, which is infinitely repeatable. And every time you complete the Avid achievements, you'll get a fishing reward related to the region. These rewards always contain 30 rare fish fillets as well as 3 chunks of ambergris. Whatever you do, make sure you're actually enjoying the activity, especially when going for extended farming sessions. Nothing will wear you out faster than doing something you dislike, so make sure to mix it up from time to time. And if you have any other comments or questions, feel free to ask them down below, and don't forget to like and subscribe.